Hey guys, Rob Schucraft here with 3 Storm Fitness. Making another video today. Happy 4th of July. If you watched the first one, there's another happy 4th of July greeting. Also, I apologize, my wife's mowing the lawn out there, so whatever. Okay, let's talk about, what was I going to talk about? Oh, this is a conversation I was having with my wife this morning. I don't remember what got us on the topic, but I thought it was really important. And it's one that I could probably wrap up in 2 minutes, but it'll maybe go 20. I don't know. It's a holiday. We're just chilling, right? Yeah. It's about, what am I talking about? Doing stuff, starting on things. And fitness, for sure. If you're a personal trainer, if you're starting your own company, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like if you want to learn to dance or I don't know, anything in the world that you don't currently know how to do or that you're currently not successful at, that you want to do or have an interest in doing, you have to do it. You have to start it. Like, okay, how long want to go about this? I just turned on the camera. I sounded like I really know what I was talking about when I was talking to her. So I'm gonna tell a little story about myself, and we'll just see what happens. Okay. So for those who don't know, I'm a personal trainer, and I do that full time now. I used to be in IT. I had a 13-year career in IT, and I did personal training part time. And I've since switched where I'm doing personal training full time and IT part time. So the whole reason I got my personal trainer certification in the first place was because I wanted to casually write articles on training, and I wanted to have a letter after my name. I wanted to have, in this case, it'd be ACE. That's my certification, my first certification anyway. So I thought it'd just make me look a little more like I knew what I was talking about. Not because I wanted to like brag that, oh, I'm a certified personal trainer, like it's super important or something. But I just thought it'd just give me just a little more credibility. Saw my son in his underwear run by. Anyways, so I thought I'll just get a certification. Plus, it'd be kind of interesting. I need to learn more. I'm a learner. So I gave myself a year to I'll just read 10 pages a day from. It's like I want to say it's like 700-800 total pages between all 3 books. I'll just read like 10 pages a day, kind of like slowly sponge everything in, and then I'll give myself a year to get the certification. So I actually ended up getting in, I think, 8 or 9 months, and but about halfway through, I was thinking, I'm like, I could see myself actually training people. Like this is kind of, I think I could actually do this. And my wife's like, you should do that like part time, because again, I was full time IT at the time. And I said, okay, yeah, I might do that. So when I got my certification, I was thinking, maybe in a few months, maybe in like 6 months or something, I'm gonna kind of develop my system, like how I'm gonna approach things, and get just the right amount of equipment and just the right amount of this, and build this ideal situation where I can thrive as a personal trainer, and then I'm gonna start. And that's what's going on in my head. That's kind of the point. That's where we're going with this. And my wife, and at the time I was a little pissed off, I gotta be honest with you, like for just a second. She goes on Facebook and she says, "Attention Gal Police," that's where we live. "Attention Gal Police, Rob Schucraft is now a certified personal trainer. Hit him up if you want to get in shape." I was just like, why'd you do that? I'm not ready. Like I don't have a plan. I don't have anything. And she's like, "You'll be fine. Just do it." She's like, "If I didn't do that, you wouldn't start. Like it'd be 10 years from now and you would have never done anything." And I know and first I was like, yeah, but then I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I could give so many examples of so many examples not only in my life but everybody else's who I know almost, who just sit there and I'll talk. Maybe I'll talk about this later, but let me continue. Had I not just started, so I did. I got a hold of somebody. There's this like old rundown building called the Rodney Community Center. and I got a contact there. I called them up, asked them how much I could rent it out to do some group fitness class once a week, and I made a contact there. I won't give her name, but she's awesome, and then she reappears in my story here, and I am going somewhere with this, I think. And so I started these classes. I'm just like, and I mean, I wasn't winging it, because I did have a background of exercise, and I did have obviously a certification, which I could go for hours on the value or otherwise of a certification, but I did have a pretty strong body of knowledge. I'll review ACE sometime, ACE certification, my experiences with that, but I'm just going to go for it. I got to start. So I told a few people about it. It came up. These people started coming. I added another day after that. Once I got kind of comfortable with it, I was figuring stuff out. I was not doing it perfect. In fact, I look back now and I think, dude, like, wow, I did not really know what I was doing. Like, I remember like 2 people threw up like my first class, because it's just like, some people take pride in that. It's not hard to make somebody throw up. It's not. Like, I can make everybody throw up, I'm sure. But I wasn't proud of that. So much learning. But there's a guy, I wish I could remember his name. I think I heard him on a Tim Ferriss podcast. Some billionaire entrepreneur. He said, like, you should be able to look back and be embarrassed of your first launches. Like, the first time you launch a website or whatever, you should feel embarrassed. Because he's not saying you should try to fail. What he's saying, his point was, I think it was just mildly tongue-in-cheek, is that you got to start. You just got to go for it, and nothing is ever going to be perfect, but you got to start. So, back to my story. I keep training. I get more and more people interested. Of course, I had times when it was I would have to cancel because no one would show up, of course, and I still kind of have those times. Like, I'm kind of finally starting to get some really solid momentum after 4 years, and but I still have times where it's super slow, and I wonder what the heck's what am I doing? I'll be honest, but there's less and less of those times. But this time, yeah, it's just like I'm figuring out what the heck's going on. I'm changing stuff and seeing what's going to happen here. Part of the reason I wanted to do this in the first place is a challenge. It's interesting. I like to grow. I like to make myself better. So then I got in with another gym because the demand was there. I needed to get some more equipment. I needed to work, I got in with a gym, and then started training people, I think 3 times a week rather. And then the lady who set me up with this Rodney Community Center, she says, hey, we're looking for a personal trainer at the power plant where I work, like a corporate trainer to come in a couple times a week. Would you be interested? I was like, yeah. She's like, you're the only trainer I know, so you want to come in? So I went in, started training them twice a week. Anybody who come in from the, I think there's like 250 people there, come in, use the gym. I trained them. It was a great gig. They paid well. Okay, so I end up training the IT director. I end up training the accounting director and several other people. Great group of folks over there anyways. So that dries up. The power plant got balled out, and the company came in and just wiped out all contracts, all non-essential contracts. Mine was one of them. Boo-hoo. But I still had tons of other stuff going on with my own personal training, and at the time I was still a full-time employee with this company where I did IT for, this hospital. And so I got plenty. Wasn't shedding a tear about it. I'd saved up tons of money to quit my job, which is what I wanted to do, and build my gym down in my pole barn. So I made all this money working this gig for this power plant. So it was still a success, even though my contract got canceled. All right, and then I go full time with my own gym, making beans. Financially speaking, I would be better off going and getting a job when I started at Taco Bell, and nothing against Taco Bell, but I always said if I I'm one of those people who says if I ever lose my job and I'll do whatever I have to do. I'll work whatever job I have to work. And I still kind of feel that way. But when I do the math every now and then, I look and I see, like, would I have to work at Taco Bell now? Like, could I? Again, nothing against Taco Bell, and folks who work at Taco Bell, good for you. I'm dead serious there. I'm just saying, I got a lot of friends who work at Taco Bell. But like, I look at my wages, and I'm like, okay, here's what I'm making per hour now if I break it down, and oh, it's above Taco Bell. So now I don't have to go back to Taco Bell. Like, where could I go now? Like, maybe I could be an assistant manager at like Walmart or something. You know, like I'm comparing myself to all these like jobs I used to have. And like, okay, I don't have to do that anymore because now I'm independently making this much. Or now maybe I'm like at anyways, getting off topic, but way off topic. Holy crap! This is a rant, obviously. If you're just tuning in, where the heck was I with that? Oh, okay. So making nothing. I get a call from the lady. This lady who I called up because my wife sent a Facebook message out, and I was desperate. I had people contact me, and I was desperate to find a place to train people. This lady who got me the gig at this power plant, where I was able to save up a huge amount of money to not only contribute to quitting my job to build that savings amount up, but also to building my gym, so I don't have to like get a loan or anything. I was just able to pay for all my equipment cash. All right. She calls me up and she says, hey, I know you were in IT. We have a need in our accounting department. And the accounting director also, we had a meeting. We want to make this budgeting program, whatever. They have an IT need. And they're like, we know you were in IT. Could you do this? And I was just like, I can figure it out. So I land a job with them. And then something I'm working on right now, they want to redo their SharePoint environment. I'm working on that right now. Hopefully almost done. My whole point of all this is, if my wife had not said, Rob Shoecraft is now a personal trainer, hit him up, I would have just been sitting there, probably still working the old job that I hated. And by the way, I had the greatest job in the area. My job was the best job ever. Like, sometimes when I'm having those bad days, where no one's coming, and just those, you're gonna have one-off bad days. You always are, always. I've come to terms with that. Like, you're gonna have days that just suck, no matter how successful you are. Get used to it. This is self-talk here. When I was having a lot of those days, and still, I'll be like, hey, why did I quit that job? It was the best. It was the sweetest gig. A lot of money for the area. Cool, super cool boss. Looked great on paper, on a resume. Like, everything about it was perfect. Had my own schedule, but I wasn't happy. Just because I love being an entrepreneur. Not because it suits me. It feeds me. It feeds a desire I have that I can't quite explain. Anyways, if she hadn't done that, if I hadn't just started somewhere, if I had waited for everything to be just right, I wouldn't have. First of all, I wouldn't be a full-time personal trainer. I'm almost certain about. I know for almost a fact. I wouldn't have gotten that gig at. I wouldn't have gotten that gig at the power plant as a trainer, which allowed me to make enough money to quit my job and buy gym equipment. I wouldn't have been able to probably facilitate the early painful days, which sometimes are still present, of just trying to make money as a full-time personal trainer in a relatively destitute area. We're not destitute, but what I mean is, like, we're on the fringes of Appalachia, and there is a lot of folks who struggle to. Let me put it this way: I got a buddy in Columbus who charges $90 an hour as a personal trainer to make house calls. I could never, ever do that around here, anywhere near that. So I had to kind of come up with my own system, a way to train a lot of people, but in a way that's affordable. That's a whole other video. But it doesn't pay that much. It really doesn't. It doesn't pay very well. So it's such a godsend that I got this gig to be able to, with my IT, again, started all because I made a contact at this rundown community center, and eventually worked it into getting some great IT jobs to help supplement my income as a trainer. you don't know. My point in all of this is 15 minutes in, with a lot of different side stories coming into play. My point of all this is, you cannot sit there, and I know so many people, and I don't want to drop names, I was one of them, and sometimes I still want to be one of them, who, you know, you hear about the lifelong student, the person who has like 3 PhDs but doesn't really have a job, and they're super smart, but who cares because they're not doing anything. Intelligence versus wisdom sort of thing. You don't want to be one of those people. Nothing against those people. I'm sure they're great I'm sure they're not obnoxious at all at cocktail parties. Actually, you know, you get a lot of that. Of course, I say that sometimes myself, but they don't get anywhere. You see, the crappy thing about learning is, first of all, it's required. Like, I would recommend that everybody go out, if you want to get into something, find a course, find somebody who's doing it in a way that you think is good, that you'd like to, there's something about the way they're doing, I'm sorry, I'm so distracted by the lawnmower out there, I'm like a freaking dog watching a squirrel. I need to take Adderall or something. I need an Adderall prescription. I've needed one for the last 20 years. Alright, I don't have one, by the way, I just want one. But that's another video. I'm shielding myself so I can't see my wife moving around the lawnmower. I'm a mess. What was I going to say? You can't sit there and, the crappy thing about taking courses, so first, you should learn all you can from, like, take a course on something, whatever it is, personal training, whatever, get a certification, and then start. Take what you know and then start. If the certification you have claims that you're going to be able to do all this stuff, blah, 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 while it is just crappy marketing material, take it at face value and then run with it. Do what you need to do and start as soon as you can and learn after that. And if you find you need to take another course to supplement something else, do the same thing, rinse and repeat, and get somewhere with it. Okay, you have to start though. No, you're never going to get the ideal starting point. Don't just take a course and then take another course because you read about something in this course you're currently taking that you might need in the future, so you're going to get that course first, and then I'm going to start. Well, no, you're not, because once you go down that road, you're going to hear about something else that you should know, and you're going to take that course. Or, I'm not even courses, but you're just waiting for these perfect opportunities. Stop it. Stop doing that. It's never going to happen. The problem with these courses, I keep using courses, but anything like that, you know what I'm talking about. The problem with these little hiccups, these things that are holding you from starting, is they make you feel good because you feel like you're doing something, because you're learning, you know, you're reading, you're taking tests, you feel like you're working, but you're not actually. It's an illusion. It's this terrible trick, and you get in this trap where all you're doing is learning and you're not really doing anything. So I'm not against learning. I'm not against degrees. I'm not against certifications, but I am up until a certain point. Get what you need to get the bare minimum you need to get started. Do what you can. Make mistakes, you absolutely are. You're going to fail like crazy. Fix them, or do your best to fix them. If after a while, I don't know what the magic rule is, maybe we'll say a year, you find that you really could use some more training in this one particular area, because you have the experience and you know that day after day after day, boy, I could really use that. Boy, I could really use that. That would make things easier. Then take the course. But don't take the course right after you haven't, don't take the course before you started. Get with the bare minimum you need to start, then fill in the blanks with a new course or certification, okay? Do that. Keep doing that. Now, I'm not the most wildly successful person in the world, so you don't have to listen to me, but just know that I've read a lot of self-help books over the years, and this is a very common theme, okay? This is people who are wildly successful and do know what they're talking about are saying the same thing. So, I don't know what I'm going to call this video. Start today, maybe, I don't know, call now. But I just want to get that out there. It's important. I know, I appreciate the folks who actually sit here and watch these. You guys, you're awesome. I kind of feel bad sometimes. This video is going to be over 20 minutes. and somebody will reference something in the comments about something I said toward like the end of the video, and part of me will be like, oh, that's awesome, like they actually said, and like, you know, they got something out of it. There's another part that's like, oh man, like I got somebody sitting here watching me for 20 minutes, and I start to feel bad, like I just took 20 minutes out of somebody's day. But I'm trying not to think that way. That's stupid, because I think it's valuable. But all that to say, like, I do appreciate the folks who watch these videos. I know they're not for everybody, but there's just so much there's so much good stuff out there, and I'm trying to get a hold of it and share it with people. So that's the point of these. A smarter person, more eloquent person could probably say everything I just said in 30 seconds, like Winston Churchill or whatever. He has some quote about a wise person, or what is it? Takes a lot. I don't remember. Something about keeping your sentences short. All right, I'm out. Have a good 4th of July. Drink and be merry. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Have a good day.